Hello, my name is Paul Lloyd. Welcome to an introduction of Tai Chi Chuan. This tape will show you some basic guidelines in the learning of Tai Chi, and hopefully you can watch the tape and pick up. As the previous chairman in Tai Chi Union for 3 years, a member of the technical and executive panel of the Tai Chi Union, it's been interesting to find different various styles of Tai Chi. And here in China, coming along to the different provinces, there's so many different ways in learning Tai Chi: fast, slow, purely for health, purely for relaxation. But we'll go back to the beginning of Tai Chi Chuan at the tape where it came from, and then we'll go back to the studio and have a look at the Tai Chi Chuan form, 37 posture form, and then slowly go through the movements individually. Tai Chi Chuan, or Tai Chi, what's the difference? Nowadays, teachers of the art refer to Tai Chi in the context of learning the movements for health and relaxation purposes, whereas Tai Chi Chuan relates significantly to the embodiment of the art as a whole. That is, the martial skills, the pushing hands and application of the movements against an opponent. The roots of Tai Chi Chuan are embedded in some 4,000 years of Chinese culture that requires the peeling back of the leaves of time and the consideration of the social and demographic changes that's helped propagate and develop this art as a whole. Zhengguo, a name given to the country by its then emperor of the Qing dynasty, means Middle Kingdom. It was a belief of the country's inhabitants that China was situated in the middle of the world, which is true even in today's cartography. When one studies the history and philosophy of Tai Chi Chuan, one finds many discrepancies in the written manuscripts, related dates and categorization of time and place of events. To appreciate the development of Tai Chi Chuan and the many aspects related to this art or way of living, we must take into account the culture, laws and beliefs embedded in China's rich history. This makes difficult research in the specific dates and events in the history of Tai Chi Chuan. What is more difficult is rooting out the conjecture and speculation to fill in gaps of historical dates. As the origins of Tai Chi are very much rooted in family clans, bias and possibly jealousy between families may have resulted in exaggeration and twisting of the truth, which also add to difficult researching. Wars create paranoia and the need for security against onslaught from outside factions. Many great historical treasures have been lost because of war, and although there has always been a war somewhere in the world, a notoriously difficult period arose in China, known as the Warring States period. This period lasted some 700 years, from around 475 to 221 BCE. It doesn't take much to imagine the carnage and massive changes of the infrastructure of this country, but also the great loss of records and manuscripts detailing prime events prior to and during this period. More recently, the Marxist revolutionaries of Mao Zedong in the early part of this century further reduced records of antiquity that previously survived from this time. However, nowadays, with carbon dating techniques and artifact retrieval through ground X-ray, learned academic researchers possessing a thorough knowledge of Chinese language and writings have poked holes in many standard legends that abound in China's history. Around 2,000 years BCE, there existed 3 legendary sages named Wang Di, Shen Nong, and Fu Xi. Each of these sages contributed greatly to the design and transformation of China from a megalithic people to a civilized and educated society. Wang Di, or Yellow Emperor, discovered medicaments in the form of herbs and introduced social order and founded what is now known as traditional Chinese medicine. Shen Nong, or Divine Countryman as he is often referred to, introduced agriculture. He invented the plough. He invented ways of living, custom, and moral order. Lastly, Fu Xi, like the sages before him, is owed many inventions and creations that benefited Chinese history and Chinese society, lifting their cultures above others in the Eastern Hemisphere. Although all were equally important to livelihood and social advancement, Fuxi is best remembered for the introduction of music to society, and more specifically, the 8 trigrams or bagua as a guide for living. These are 3 sets of lines containing a broken line or yin line and a solid or yang line. Each trigram possesses a property of action if interaction is involved. With this formulation, Fuxi devised an arrangement to show the establishment of trigram action, which also relates to the creative and destructive cycles of the 5 elements. King Wen and his son Duke Chao Wenwang, from their devotion to the study of the universe, compiling knowledge of the 5 elements and trigrams, between them they founded the Yi King, or Book of Change, which is the oldest and most extant book in Chinese literature. This book is still widely read today in both Eastern and Western cultures for the purposes of meditation, introspection and divination. Although Yi King is attributed to Taoism, this extraordinary book makes no mention of the Tao. The Shi Qi, or Book of Records, informs us of a special individual called Li Er, or better known as Lao Tzu, who was a keeper of the archives at the court of the King of Chao. During this time, in the 6th century BCE, Lao Tzu first met Confucius, and it's recorded that the disputes between them from this encounter prompted Lao Tzu to resign as a keeper of the archives. Leaving the region behind him and putting his experience behind him, Lao Tzu travelled west through the mountain pass of Hsing-ku near Tibet. It is said he met Yan Xi, the guardian of the pass, and at whose request Lao Tzu wrote the famous Tao Te Ching. The author of the Book of Records has recorded that Lao lived in accordance with the Tao, deep, profound and mysterious. The Tao enables man to return to a childlike innocence, living in natural simplicity. Although credence is given to Lao as a father of Taoism, Chuang Tzu is equally important in initiating Taoism through his teachings and writings. Taoism is actively practiced in China, as is Buddhism. Here we see Master Wong practicing his sword form at the old and very famous Heavenly Cloud Temple in China. Weapons and practice are often seen in Taoist temples. From an ethical point of view, philosophical Taoism is the opposite of Confucianism, whose cardinal values of virtue of humanity and uprightness is rejected because they veil the true nature of man and impede the Tao. Confucius, better known as Confucius, set himself the task of salvaging the ideals of the ancients from general decline, and forgotten memories was the founder of great wisdom school. Buddhism entered China from India around 527 BCE and was introduced by Bodhidharma. Therefore, up to the 5th century, religious discipline in China was governed by beliefs in magic, alchemy, and superstition. There are various aspects to Tai Chi, such as Tui Shao, which has been here, and the various styles as well in Tai Chi, such as Chen, from this Chen school here in Beijing, and Yang, seen at the back in the chap in the white. So here we meet 2 different names, Yang and Chen. These names come from the family who devoted their time in the development of the art. In this scene here we see Master Yu performing Rui style. The most featured styles in the West are Wu, Yang and Chen, that all come from the family names. Other associated arts are Bagua, Xingyi, which relate to the 3 perils, that is Tai Chi, Bagua and Xingyi. And no matter what age you are, it's always beneficial for your health. In this videotape we'll be learning 37 posture form, the first section. I will be teaching the 37 posture Tai Chi Chuan form that's peculiar to the 7 Stars School teaching syllabus. But it should be noted that no book or video is any substitute for a Tai Chi teacher. If you've purchased this video and are pursuing an interest in Tai Chi, then I would strongly recommend that you contact the address featured at the end of this video for the Tai Chi Union for Great Britain. Throughout the video I will demonstrate the 37 posture Tai Chi Chuan form that's in two sections. The first section will be in depth, the second section will be for demonstration, and it can be followed along in your video. When I teach what we affectionately term the form, the 37 posture Tai Chi form, then I frequently refer to acupuncture points and meridians, which act as a guide to positioning the hand and help structure the position of the body in the Tai Chi form. There are over 3,500 acupuncture points in the body and 12 main meridians, or channels, that transport energy around the body throughout the main organs, namely the large intestine, small intestine, liver, stomach, spleen, kidney, bladder, gallbladder, lungs, heart, pericardium, and sanjiao. There are also two circulating meridians on the anterior and posterior of the body called the Ren and Du meridians. Lastly, there are 8 extraordinary meridians that feature briefly in our tuition. By using these points and meridians as guides for tuition, the beginner is more accurate in the structure and the posture, more relaxed, and indeed his or her awareness and sense of well-being during practice is truly enhanced. "37 Posture Tai Chi Chuan Open Hand Form, as taught in the 7-star school of Tai Chi Chuan. We begin by preparation, raising both hands to the level of the shoulders, dropping the elbows and letting the hands slip down by the sides. Each posture in the Tai Chi form has a name that reflects nature or animals, as in Chinese philosophy, mythology, culture and beliefs. Moving into the first of the repetitive moves in Tai Chi Chuan, you'll learn these 4 moves, which is called the 4 energies: Beng, Lu, Ji and An. And I'll repeat these as we come through in their English name. This is An, or push. Preparation for a single whip. Single whip proper, always remembering to turn the right toe. Raising hands to play pipa or play guitar. Shoulder stroke. Raise hands and to white crane spreads its wings and roll back or peng. Brush left knee and push. Step up. Play guitar, left side. Brush left knee and push again. Brush left knee can be called brush left knee and twist step. Step up, strike down, parry and punch. The left hand coils under the right elbow as we come up to seal the form into what's called apparent close-up and close with cross hands. That's the conclusion of the first section of the form as shown in the first tape. Second section begins with embrace tiger, return to mountain and into the 4 energies: ward off right, roll back, press, and push. The 4 energies is always followed by preparation and then moving into single whip proper. is a single whip to the diagonal, the right diagonal. Cross legs to spin around into fist under elbow. Stepping back repulse monkey, stepping back 3 times, keeping the feet parallel at all times, toes forward, heels behind. Step back in the right. Step back left for the 3rd time. Catching moon, or some practitioners and teachers call catching the ball, and into diagonal flying. Catch moon again, and into wave hands like clouds. Both palms face each other on each side of the body. So we move from the right, around the centre of the body to the left, closing the feet. Back to the right again, stepping out. When we close the feet, we allow a gap of 1.5 to 3 inches between the heels. Stepping forward with a whip into squatting single whip. Snake creeps down and up into golden cockerel. Right side, golden cockerel, left side, and separation of hands and feet. Toe kick to diagonal. Repeat the move on the right side, separation of hands and feet. Toe kick to left side. We spin around, and it's a heel kick, followed by brush left knee and push. Coming back to brush right knee and push. Same move on the right side, and this time brush left knee and punch down towards the groin, the level of your own groin. Stepping up, catch the moon, and back into the 4 energies, ward off right or peng, roll back or lu, press or ji, and coming back into an. 4 energies are 4 of the 8 gates, which will be discussed later at the advanced stages. Followed again by single whip. And now we're going to what's called Fair Ladies Weaves the Shuttles. Ward off left, followed with chai, which is another gate, into Fair Ladies Weaves the Shuttle at each diagonal. Left diagonal, right diagonal, crossing the hands as you move, crossing feet as you move. Left diagonal behind you, right diagonal behind you. And we stay on the right foot to catch moon and ward off left. Catching moon on the left side, ward off right. Roll back. Press. And push. The alignment of the hands and points will be seen in the first video. Preparing and into single whip proper. Snake creeps down for the last time. A new move, salute the 7 stars, Qi Jing, as it's known in Mandarin. Retreat to ride the white tiger and sweep the lotus. A lotus kick,